I've always seen these couples like sitting down and talking to a shrink. And obviously, if your wife and your husband are sitting down, you're obviously most likely 100% talking to a couples counselor.
I have a story how I got suckered into an ex-couples counseling session with my kid's mom. I don't remember how it happened, how it went from I just want to meet you to Mr. Grant-Henriques, why don't you want to make eye contact with her?
Just to get a professional's unbiased, opinion that might assist you in understanding your partner's or even yours like wrongful, I guess idealistic, view of things.
The human race is divided in two distinct sexes, male and female. While the typical man is a simple creature, there exists a subgroup, the nice guy, a dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex, allegedly. However, they are dismissed and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone. Joe, Jason, and Manny are the last of the nice guys.
Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of The Last of the Nice Guys. Today, should I explain to them about the recording, what's going on? Or
I mean, if you want to explain it.
It's fuck it. Well, anyway, I'll be recording with my main man over here, my main squeeze, only because, and Manny will be coming later on, only because myself has plans for later on.
Because this man always makes plans. He always makes plans.
During the time that
last week. He always makes plans.
During the time
the only time we record,
have to go and record around 9, I will be out.
He'll be canoodling with somebody else. That's the whole point. So
that's not what I'm going to be doing, but whatever. Anyway, regardless of that, thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. I'm Joe.
I'm Jason.
And we are the Last of the Nice Guys. Today's
allegedly
exciting episode.
Every episode's exciting. That's my number more.
Contains a very interesting topic that I came up with. And
okay, tell us. So excited.
No, I was just actually looking to make sure that I got the title because I actually wrote it down.
Perfect. So I can write this down too.
Yeah. So the title of today's episode is Couples Counseling. Does it work for you, or is it a waste of time?
Okay, I like it. Now, of course, this is inspired by Joe's real life counseling escapades.
I have never had couples counseling ever. Don't listen to this man. He's a bitch.
Okay, so before we get into it, then why did you choose this topic? If it's not related to you personally, what inspired this topic?
So I remember watching a couple of movies like this year. Well, actually, this year and last year, and for some reason, it always had these scenes of like, whether it be a comedy, whether it be a comedy, dramatic, serious, whatever it is, the genre of it. I've always seen these couples like sitting down and talking to a shrink. And obviously, if your wife and your husband are sitting down, you're obviously most likely 100% talking to a couples counselor. So I've always wondered to myself, do those things actually work? Like, I mean, I know I've heard of people actually going to couples. It is a lucrative business, and I actually kind of like wonder how to get into that because I really would love to hear these people's stories. Like what happens?
You couldn't do
Why
it.
Why aren't they
laughing?
I would laugh. Everything.
You would not be able to be objective. You would start laughing. You'd be like,
I would not. I would not be able to hold my tongue. Every 2 seconds, I would find something to laugh about because people have these stories that are, I would assume, to be absolutely insane. Like lies that are told,
Mm-hmm.
truths that are told that you probably wouldn't even expect to hear, but you'll hear it at the couples counseling because what better time to fucking say it than then? So I always wondered about that, like how do couples get to that point, and what drives them to get to that point? Who even starts the conversation by saying, "Hey, we should do couples counseling. I think it's a good idea." So
Family,
I've always,
friends,
yeah,
the what,
exactly.
the wife,
Yeah, the wife, my
Joe.
mother-in-law is going crazy. Joe being a dick again, acting out and running naked in the street, stuff like that. Why does he keep on doing
True
it?
story.
True story. So yeah, I've always wondered, like, what's the breaking point for either the male or female to be like, listen, I think we should
Well, I mean,
see
I don't know.
somebody.
See that's subjective or objective, one of the two. Um, oh my God, the house phone is ringing. This has never happened before. I'm so sorry. Keep talking.
Yeah. So the house phone rang on
Goddamn house
Jason's end,
phone.
and this is exciting because I never heard that house phone ring
Oh
in
my
any of
God.
these episodes ever before. So to hear that ringing in the background is very, very exciting. Um, you can see my face and how much excitement I have because of the house phone ringing. Anyway, and also might I add that Jason's a real stupid mother. Hey Jay,
All
what's
right,
going
shut up.
on,
Whatever
man?
you're saying. If you or your household has Medicare, click. So my bad. Yeah, we have a house phone here. For those who don't know, the Vibe Studios is a home-based studio, so it's in the ground floor of where I currently reside. So we have a house phone now, so it rings very randomly. But
You
it's
never had that before, did you?
no, it's just part of the package, and so whatever. So anyway, like I was saying, that the breaking point is it varies between partners and relationships. It could be liking somebody's photo on Instagram. It could be looking at a girl's fat ass as you're walking down the street. It could
Yeah,
be,
but something so minuscule can lead you
yeah,
to
of course. It depends upon what it
couples
means.
counseling
It depends because look, the definition of cheating, it's an episode we did a while ago. Remember the definition of cheating?
a long
That
time
there's
ago.
so many different things. Let me go, where it is that the so many different people think so many things are different. Like yeah, liking a girl's picture on Instagram, they consider cheating. Um, talking
I still don't I
correct.
don't understand that, but whatever. I still
But
don't
I mean,
get that one.
so that's what I'm saying. So just as subjective as or objective. God, I need to freaking figure out which word I want to use. Just as it varies for that, what defines cheating, it varies for by couple. What is the breaking point? It could be simply you're coming home too late. It could be you're partying with the boys too much. It could be you drink too much. It could be anything. So really, there is no line. The line is painted by each couple, each thing. It could be like
Or another fantastic topic to get into couples counseling would be the woman is allowed to have all these emotions and feelings, but you're not.
oh. Blue. Another good counseling for friends is when your buddy knocks up this girl that you anyway. So
Oh my god.
but yeah. Ah,
Perfect.
what a
Man, these,
fucking
these
world.
last couple of days are.
These last couple of weeks, what are you talking about?
Mm.
I just went through our Texas stuff real quick, and just to look at it, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe we survived that friggin'
How
air.
does that couple survive? I want to send them the couples counseling
You should,
because
you
for
should.
because for them to have whatever you have, like licenses. I don't know what you can do.
Right.
What you need to go on air for them to have a place like that and be able to sell it, or I mean, for people to rent or use whatever. What?
But
No,
if you read, but if you read their reviews, it looks like your time spent there is a roll of the dice. It could be good, it could be bad. Some people had a great time, some people had a terrible time. So it looks like it all depends upon the
I
site.
know, ladies and gentlemen, myself and Jason stayed in Texas for like what 4 nights, and we got an Airbnb based because of me. I'm gonna
He
put
got
the
an
blame on
Airbnb.
me.
He got an Airbnb.
I got an Airbnb.
I just said, sure, how much money it is. Let me send it to you because I was
I
busy elsewhere.
I got it. I got an Airbnb, and we both shacked up in this Airbnb. And lo and behold, to make it real short and sweet, I think, in my opinion, it was disaster. We didn't stay for the full 4 nights. We stayed for 3 nights.
But not because
So
we couldn't, just we had a snafu at 3 a.m. in the morning. We
3
didn't
a.m. in the
arrive.
morning. 3 a.m. in the morning. I just don't. And by the way, side note, I couldn't reply to that thing that she said.
You couldn't?
No, it wouldn't give me the option to publicly reply. I could only do
Wow.
it I can only do it, which sucks because now like she's just blatantly telling me lies and like telling
yeah,
people
pretty much
lies.
where
Which
basically like you're over exaggerating, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the
yeah,
topic
let's
at
get back to the
hand.
topic.
So
Fuck.
I have a story. I think I told you about it. It's how I got suckered into an ex-couples counseling session with my kid's mom. Okay, so and
I
this
think I
is
remember this.
yeah. So she was, for whatever reason, taking my kids, especially my oldest, to therapy behind my back. And I'm not saying it, oh my God, but literally it was behind my back. I had no idea about it whatsoever. And she was trying to hide it from me for whatever reason. So um, she was caught because one day she said, okay, well, I got to pick up the oldest and he has an appointment. I said, really? I said, what kind of appointment? She goes, it's a private appointment for me and him. I said, okay, well, he has being his father. I have the right to know because it can only be scholastic,
Right.
psychological, or medical.
Right.
And I didn't think psychological for anything. I just said that those are the only appointments he would probably have. So I have the right to know, especially if I want to attend. She goes, it's it's private therapy for me and Theo. I said, you're taking my oldest to therapy, and you didn't tell me.
That's
I said,
that's
I
no,
said, I
that's a
said, I
no
said, I
no.
said, I said, go ahead, take him. But when he gets back, understand that I'm going to grill him and find out exactly what's going on. So she had mentioned to the therapist my reaction, and the therapist pumped the brakes and said, wait a minute, his father doesn't know that he's in therapy. So she freaks out, in my opinion, tells her, you need to give him my card. You need to let him know that I need to speak with him because he can't. You can't take a child to therapy without the parents. What she has a
Both parents.
both
mind you.
parents. So she has a bad habit in the past. I mean, recent past of not necessarily saying that her husband is my son's father, but not saying that her husband is not their father.
Right.
For example, I went to the pediatrics. I took him to pediatrics one time, and she was going through something, or maybe she's just MIA. So I took on all the doctor's appointments, all the dental appointments, all the appointments, and boys were going to stay with me full time. So it was fine. I didn't mind. So I go to pediatrics, and they're like, basically, who are you? I said, I'm their father. I'm here with them. They have an appointment
Who are
today.
you?
They're like, well, you're not on their file. Not on their file. I'm their father. Yeah, we have name, expletive deleted on their file as their father. I said, is that so? I said, so this is what we're gonna do. Check it out. This is what's gonna happen. Check it out. You're gonna delete that off their file because that's not their father. Okay, you're gonna put my number there, and he has no right to cancel it because what happened is we went there and he had canceled their appointments because they called him to confirm, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and canceled them. So when I arrived, I was like, I'm here for the appointment. Well, sorry, Dad, you called and canceled. I didn't call and cancel. I got no phone call. We called you. No, you didn't. Aren't you name deleted? And I was like, no. So they're like, were you? And they didn't. They were giving me a hard time. They were like, yeah, well, listen, we don't know who you are. I mean, yes, you have the boys with you. I'm like, I'm their father. They said I was there for 45 minutes. I felt so embarrassed. They said, do you by any chance have either their birth certificates with your name on it, or the court order that shows that you're their father? I said, I said, what? I called her up and I laid into, well, I didn't lay into her because I said, I'm so angry now. She go, well, I didn't do that. I put your name. I said, little woman, I am looking at the paperwork right now. His name is there. His number is there. Have you lost your goddamn mind?
Right, for real, really.
Yeah, right in the pediatrics place. Luckily for me, they put him in. They did it because she called and explained everything and whatever. So, sorry, I got off track, but that's an example of her. Maybe she didn't do it on purpose. Maybe she put all 4 kids in the same place, but did not make sure that she said these 2 are his, these 2 are another guy's. So I'm not saying that she purposely puts him as their father, but
Right.
she does not make sure that these people know that I'm their father. So with that being said, the therapist didn't know that her husband was not their father. Again, right? So when she found out, she freaked out. So she invited me to come in. And this is at a time when in my opinion, it's just my opinion, her home life was trashy or crappy or whatever it was. And
Not up to par.
it probably still is for all I know, miserable because whatever. But in my opinion, I felt like she was trying to blame our kids for part of the reason why her home life is so rocky.
Pretty
So
much.
and I didn't like that. I kept on telling her you need to stop, especially my oldest, because my oldest is he's a different kid. He's very opinionated. He's very very whatever, and he's beginning to grow into his own, where he's beginning to stand up for himself. And there's any place for him to stand up for himself, it's at his mother's place. So he's beginning to stand up for himself, and it's causing more issues between,
Makes sense.
it's causing more issues, not the issues, more issues between her and her husband. So he goes to special therapy with her. Backtracking. Anyway, so I'm invited to come in, and she asked me, and I said, listen, I'll come to this, but I'm nipping this in the butt. I'm gonna come to this, but I'm nipping this in the butt.
Of course.
It's not happening. So we go, and I show up there. It's I think it's me and him. I don't and my youngest. They wait outside, and so she invites me and her in first. And mind you, it was just supposed to be a meet and greet. Hi, how are you? Blah 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 blah. Okay, bring Theo in. What had happened was it turned into an ex-couples counseling session. Joe, I don't remember how it happened, how it went from I just want to meet you, this is what I'm doing with Theo, to Mr. Grant-Henriques, why don't you want to make eye contact with her? Boy, listen, I there's this show where where this it was a Dave Chappelle skit. It was a Dave Chappelle skit, and she took him to therapy, and he looked at her and he said, "Bitch, I'll kill you." That's exactly how I felt. It's like, bitch, I cannot believe you have me here in an ex-couples counseling. I feel like it was set up. Basically, her issues with
You basically were set up.
I feel like I was set up. She basically, her issues with me were basically, I don't answer her phone calls. I don't reply to her texts, and I don't make eye contact with her. And basically, in not so many terms, from what I got from that session, she blamed me for her life. That's how it sounded to me. I'm not saying she said that, I'm saying that's how I sounded. So so the therapist says, well, to be fair, the boys are of the age, that you guys don't really need to speak on the phone or in person. That a simple text can't
resolve the issue.
Can't help.
Yeah.
Isn't sufficient enough.
Right.
She asked me, but she goes, Mr. Grant, can you please, maybe please, just reply with it okay? I said, I can do that. Boy, for the longest time, I would just reply with okay. But anyway, he's like, well, Mr. Grant, well, why, is there any reason why you don't want to look her in the eyes? Because she'd look at me, but I would never look at her. We were sitting in a, just like this, but in a couch right next to each other, but I didn't look at her one time. Is there any problem? I said, because I don't need to. I said, what do I get from making eye contact with her? It's unnecessary. And so, and yeah, that's me being petty. That's me being bitter. But at that time, this is how I felt. I don't need to talk to you.
There was nothing wrong with how you felt.
Send me an email, send me a text, and leave me the fuck alone. That's all I wanted. It's all I've ever wanted for years before, being friendly and whatever it is that we currently are in. Is to be left alone. Leave me alone. Do your part. I do my part, but leave me alone. Okay. That's all it is. You have somebody to torment your husband. You have your other kids to torment your other kids. Leave me, and then by proxy, my boys, leave them alone. So that session for me, as being a couples ex-couples therapy session, it did nothing. It did nothing, but give me insight into the fact that I'm convinced that she blames me for her life. But other than that, it did nothing for me personally. Besides a third party saying, hey, you kind of don't need to talk. It may be dickish of him, but you don't need to talk. So I got nothing from it. Not to say that's not a thing, but it just didn't do anything for me. Maybe,
for some people it doesn't work.
Maybe if I was more, maybe if I knew this was happening, it would have been different. But I was so angry when this happened.
At that time, you had every right to be angry, though. So you had reasons to be angry at the start of this
right
of the session.
So So needless to say, I did not condone any more therapy sessions because I literally said to her, "You need to stop blaming our kids for your issues because it's not their fault. They
Yeah,
may
that's a
symptom
pretty.
they may be a symptom of what's going on with you or your household, but they're definitely not the cause. So knock it off." So that's how that ended. But and I know I have it on good authority that the whole family for a while went to therapy. Full family's therapy,
Well, there
because
we
of
go.
whatever was going on. Whether they go or not, I have no idea. But and I don't care either. But that's that's that. And if it did work, it didn't. Again, from my authority, it didn't help anything at all. So that was just a waste of money for them. That's of course an atypical, maybe 50-50. So is there any stories you know about of therapy sessions that have gone right or wrong?
I was supposed to actually attend or start taking one like couple years back. I'm saying like maybe when I say couple years back, I'm talking about like probably
Like last week? Okay.
2015.
For those who are not watching, he gave me the middle finger. So
I did, and then I almost closed out my Zoom thing because of my mouse up here. Anyway, which would have been funny, but yeah, I think 2015ish, 2014ish. I want to say 2014 to be safe. I was supposed to do something like that, and with that
whomever, right?
person, yeah, it doesn't matter. And I said no. I was like, I was like,
he's like, no. I said
I
no.
was like, no, because
Why
it
did
didn't
you
make
say
it.
no? Why
It
did you
didn't
say
make any.
no?
It didn't make sense to me at the time. Like, because I felt in my head, which is like a cliche answer, anything that needed to be said or fixed could be fixed or said privately or amongst each other. And I didn't see any real reason to do any of that, which was funny because back then, like my mindset was completely different as
May I
opposed to
ask?
now.
May I ask what was the issues that you think caused her just to think that therapy was the option?
Like the lack, I guess it was for this particular individual, like the
Mhm.
lack of emotion. Because
Huh.
I, for some reason, no, but it was okay.
Because
It, it, it would
you're a weeping puppy dog, so that's weird.
I am to a degree, but well, I used to be on overdrive one back in the day, but I
Yeah,
am
last
now.
week.
I am now. No, definitely not last week. I am now
You
to
definitely
a
were in
degree.
Texas.
Yeah, no, I mean that was just me checking in and stuff like that. That's just me being courteous and
Uh-huh.
respectable and stuff like that. But look, I I remember I remember having that answer given to me. And the weird part about it is,
Mhm.
and the part that I never made any sense was that it wasn't even official. Like it wasn't official. It wasn't a title. There was no title, but that was what was trying to happen.
Okay.
So, which makes no sense. So it wasn't a title,
So
or there was no
that
title.
explains it right there. You guys weren't technically, in your eyes, you weren't official. So having going
Right.
to therapy made absolutely no sense.
Right. So the
So okay,
emotional
so there
part,
you
I
go.
think, was just like a let me just catch it out of the water, and so I can use this excuse to go for what. And I thought it was very weird. It kind of like made me push that individual further and further away.
Right.
Thank God it was like a 3-4 month thing, like nothing.
3-4 month
So,
thing, and you need to go to therapy.
dude, it
The
was
hell was
the weird.
that?
That's why. Why do you think my answer? Why do you think you left my answer this way?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, usually when you think couples therapy, people have been together for a
A
year,
year
together.
longer.
If you had said a couple of months, I would have more than understood that response. You need to see you lack context, dog. You need to give us some context. Don't give us the context at the end. So you have
No,
all our listeners. You have all our listeners saying, "Wow, Joe's a fucking dick."
because it was weird. Ooh, excuse me. It was
Mhm.
weird to me how. Ooh, again, it was weird to me how I was able to like back then, especially again, like I had different mindset back then. I was way
Right.
younger, so it was weird to me how I had the knowledge to basically, which was a very easy thing to think about. Like it didn't take me like that much. It didn't drain energy from me when it came to thinking about my answer
Right.
because it was a flat out quick no.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, let me think about this for a minute and let me circle back around and come back to you, whatever. No, it was a
But
flat
for
out
any
no.
for any normal guy, it should have been a no because of the lack of time.
The lack of
There's
time
there is
and
no longevity, I should say, with the relationship that doesn't exist to
the
warrant such a
right.
such a thing. It's
The
too
lack,
soon, basically.
way too soon. Way too soon.
You're still in the, I don't want to say honeymoon phase, but you're still in the early parts of the phase. Like whatever issues you have, if they can't be worked on, then you can easily say, okay, well, I'm gone, and that's it. The relationship's over, and no muss, no
And
fuss.
and with the worst part about that is that well, not the worst, actually got kind of the best, was that after that conversation of like the no and not having to go and not just denying it out of the teeth, was okay, we're pretty much done. And I was fine. I was kind of like acting like how you were acting when you told me the story before. Like it was good. It was nothing for me to feel. There's no emotion. I
Right.
guess that's why she said that she needed to for me to use my emotions more and to use that as an excuse to go. But I mean, it didn't make any sense. And I honestly, it was only there, like everything was happening with that individual for only one reason only, which I don't even need to explain to you why, because you're a man, you already know.
It's
So
it's
yeah,
you.
so it was that was it. There was nothing that I needed to do.
Right.
But that was my only story of me almost attempting to do it. But over the years of hearing people that I know having to go, even like one of my buddies, like that has the guy I told you that reminds me of JJ.
Right.
He has like the 2-year-old now. He well, actually he just turned 1, and he had to go with his son's mother, which I thought was insanely hilarious
He
because it
had to
never
go.
it was like, I'm sorry,
Are they together?
no, hell no, wrong choice of words. He chose to go because she asked and she chose. She was like, all right,
So they're
maybe
not
it's best.
together. So they're not together, but they chose to go to counseling.
This was
Okay.
not recently. This was like before they even had the baby, because they were together for like maybe
Oh,
2 years before that. So, I mean, the story that he was like, the stuff that he was telling me about what she was complaining about. I mean, you talk about psycho. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go ahead and like try to dive into the way women think, because we'll
right.
probably again lose viewership in a day. But but
What viewers? What listeners?
viewers, we'll have like a fucking they'll fucking protest us like they do with everything
They'll
nowadays.
cancel us. The last of
Yeah, they
Maximus.
cancel us like they cancel Aunt
Those
Jemima. Those
chauvinistic,
fucking
toxic masculinity. Can you look at me and you, Joe? The definition of toxic masculinity. Can you fucking imagine?
have our faces like this.
You know, like, can you believe this shit? So
Cancel this podcast. But yeah, like the stories that he was telling me, were it was so insane to the point where I had to ask him. I was like, dude, are you gonna leave her? Because like, I mean, because I don't see how this is gonna work at all. You got, first of all, he didn't want to go. Secondly, she wanted to go and was trying to have him, basically trying to make it work. But she was so paranoid about everything
Right.
he did, so insecure about everything he did. It
Damn.
was right then and there. It was an easy fix to end whatever they.
Well,
Whatever
I mean, we've always said this pretty. As soon as there's doubt in a relationship, and if you can't satisfy your doubt by talking to your spouse, then that's it. You're done. You shouldn't even be
Yeah.
in a relationship at all anymore. And I
Yeah.
fully mean that. The minute there's doubt, and I said this, and I sound like a broken record. The minute there's doubt, and you cannot get closure or satisfaction by talking to your mate or to your whatever your significant other,
right.
and that's it. You should go, instead of festering and checking and wondering and snooping. No, why would you put yourself through all of that?
Why?
I mean,
There's
I
no
don't care.
reason.
I love him or I love her. That doesn't matter. It's not important. It's not. It's not. It's not that important. It is not that serious where you have to build your entire day around trying to make sure this person is whatever. No.
Couples counseling is usually, in my opinion, for couples who have that longevity,
Mm-hmm.
who know each other extremely well, or well to a point where they notice patterns that are off,
Right.
and then they can talk about it with a professional, so they can work things out and probably
And I take that word professional, I mean, as a grain of salt. First on my ass.
yeah,
What it basically is, though, is that it gives you a third party that has no loyalty to either side, because you can talk. I'll talk to my friend, my family. You talk to your friends, your family. They have loyalty to you. So they're gonna. What you need is an objective voice, third party, that has no dog in this race. to then give you an opinion, and that's pretty much what it is. And technically, you can find anybody. Just find yourself somebody, a mutual friend could be a third party, as long as somebody that you know has both of you guys in best heart in mind, or you feel that way, but that's the only, in my opinion, benefit of therapy is that you're talking your problems out to a stranger. Stranger doesn't know you, doesn't give a damn, and probably has heard it all before, so they can give you an objective and simple response, or give you an objective or simple solutions that you guys can work on. So it's true. I mean, I see the benefits of that. Talking out your problems in front of your spouse with somebody who's neutral. I get the benefit of that. There is absolute benefits to that, because even if the third party, the therapist, does not give you anything constructive, at least you were in a safe place where you're able to speak your mind, she's able to speak her mind, and then you both probably will be on your best behavior, because you're not going to want you would think that you don't want to show off or show out in front of a stranger. You probably don't want to do that. So it allows you both to speak. Kind of like why I like to have arguments via text message. What I like to have arguments via text message, not because I want to hear your voice, but because it forces you to read everything I say without interruption. When you argue in person,
a true millennial.
That's what I'm saying. No, but it's true.
It is.
I will read everything you say without question, and you read it.
Right.
So there is no misunderstanding of at least our words, maybe not our tone, but our words. I love having text message arguments, because you're gonna read everything I have to say, and you can't. Even if you did text me, you can't interrupt me, and it goes through like that. I'll take this conversation verbally, but after I have this play-by-play that I can read back to you.
Right.
That's just how I am.
Right. Right.
I'm not detached. I will talk about my feelings in person, but I do prefer it over text message, only because, all that.
I've heard a lot of people say that too, where they text message is a lot easier. I agree too.
It's not easier, because sometimes it's just all that texting paragraphs is annoying as hell, but it is an unfiltered, direct connection to my words and my gripe. And so you can't say, you can't interrupt me, you can't yell me down, you can't say I don't know that. Nope, there's my words right there. This is exactly what I said to you that's bothering me, and it's what you said to me.
Yeah.
So
right. I feel like that's a little bit easier too.
It's just that's what it is. But again, I'm not against talking face to face. I do it many times. I'm not against talking about it on the phone, but I prefer via text. If we're gonna argue, let's do it via text message. Let's lay all our words out on the table. You
get your point across like a little bit easier too.
You get your point across, whether they get it or not. You get your point across uninterrupted. There's no yelling down. There's no nothing. Your words, her words. Take it or leave
it. Unless you use caps for like every little.
Oh, wow.
I've had that happen before. I've had a female use caps for like her expressing a serious conversation, and I'm like, "Are you yelling at me, or are you just trying to make a point? What are you doing right now? Because I'm confused. What are you doing?
Are you yelling at me? Okay, listen here, bitch.
Are you yelling? Okay. Or are you making a point?
Listen here. Who are you? So no, I see the benefits in it. So before we wrap this up, before part B, before we take a little break, I told you my story, you have your story, and you have your other friend's story. Do you think, answering your own question, is couples counseling worth it?
Like I said, it's worth it, in my opinion, if you have longevity with the person that you're with. If you have years and you've tried, I think it's like almost like a last minute. It's like not a last minute, but a last solution.
Last resort. It's the last resort.
To you getting something. But if you feel like you tried everything, you talked to like your personal friends, maybe even your parents, whatever, if you're that close to them and you want to, I don't do that personally, but I never do that. So so if you want to go ahead, if you want to go ahead and I feel like I was Batman for a minute. Like, oh fuck. So if you
I can see that. Who you? I'm Batman.
What's with this? Who you?
Because that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Joe, if you could imagine my incredible shame, my incredible embarrassment when I had 5 staff members, 2 nurses and 3 clerks staring at me like, who are you? Like, who are you? We don't know who you are. Your name's not on the paperwork. And we've never seen your face before, because she wants to play super mom. She wants to take them all the appointments and never tell me when they are. So that's how she's always been. I just get the information. I pay my whatever my co-pays I pay for,
Yeah.
but I'm never there. She always makes it when I'm at work.
Right.
So, this is a new pediatric location as well, or at least new to me. And honestly, you have this friggin' random guy with these two boys saying he's the father, and his name is not on any of the paperwork.
Not on the list at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. I look at their eyes are squinting at me like, who are you? Like, no, seriously, who are you? Because so that's how I felt. I felt so bad. That was, I mean, listen, she's embarrassed me many times,
But that might have topped it all, huh?
but that was one of when she subpoenaed me with court papers at my job. That was the highest, the worst. No, maybe when no, that was number one. That was number three. Number two was a totally different time when somebody filed something against her, and the fucking child abuse and services had to come to my house, check my house too, and I had a full house full of friends, and I was mortified. Thank God they told my people it's not about him, but the rules are rules. We got to come to both houses. So no, that was probably number three.
Fucking embarrassing.
Dude, she has inadvertently and pretty much blatantly embarrassed me so many times throughout my young 20s, and it is what it is. But to go back to me, I don't think it's worth it, because just like Joe says, if it's a last resort, if you're at your last legs, that relationship is over. Can couples therapy change it along? Sure, it's possible. But the fact that you have to go, that's usually like the end of the rope. It really is. No, people start fighting and say couples therapy. No, couples therapy is usually at the end, where you're really trying your hardest to make it work. And if you have to go that far, unless you have a reason, maybe kids, maybe marriage, maybe finances, but I don't think it's worth it, because if you need a third party to mediate a conversation between you and your spouse, it's over.
It's over, right?
It's over.
Right. That's a good point.
That's
That's
what it is. It's
relationship.
It's relationship mediation. That means and I don't just mean therapy. I mean, if you have to go through a friend, you know how many times it happened to me? I think it was at least 2 times in my 30s. I don't remember before, where I was literally the mediator between 2 friends that were in a relationship. It happened twice. Now, granted, both relationships failed. Not to say that I'm a terrible mediator, but nobody wanted to listen to me. But she'd tell me, I would tell him, he would tell me, I would tell her. I'm just like, and these people lived together in both circumstances. When one guy got upset and left, the one would call me, do you know who he is? I think he's, guys, come on. But I mean, not to complain, because I allowed myself to be put in that position, because I didn't just tell them to go fuck off.
Clearly.
So, but it was annoying. But the simple fact is, though, whether it's friend or therapy or family member or whatever it is, the minute you need a mediator between you and your spouse, significant other, it's over. So in other words, how I knew things were over between me and my kid's mom? It's when we had to sit down at her biological father's place and have a conversation. That's when I knew it was over.
Yeah.
The fact is, things were so bad, and she was making me seem like a monster so badly that I had to come by and meet this guy. Cool guy, though, very cool guy. And we sat down. I said, yeah, this is not going to work out. It's not going to work. Again, if you love him, you love her, go for it. But you got to have some kind of major breakthrough to really go through, or go a whole lot. And that's not just that, because even when you iron out your issues through mediation, through therapy, if neither of you are willing to work on said issues, it's not going to work. If you can't talk to each other about it, how are you going to find the way to meet to address it and change it? Again, I'm not saying therapy doesn't work, because if it must, or something like that, because it's thriving.
Yeah.
I find it to be, if I ever get with a woman and it gets to a point, well, it'll never get to that point, but if it just happens to be that, I'd say, listen, we might as well just call it quits things. Because if you feel you can't talk to me, or I can't talk to you, and we gotta talk at each other through somebody else, that's weird and unfortunate. That's not a relationship.
Yeah.
So
The best and most helpful
Yeah,
use of help that you can get is just at least try to talk to your partner first.
of course.
Yeah,
That,
first
that
and
should be
foremost.
that should be the only thing. Don't go
That's
to
it.
anybody else. Don't complain behind their back. Tell them to the face. At least tell them to the face. Then you can complain to them to anybody else. But the worst thing you can do is complain or whatever to somebody else, and this guy or this girl has no idea
What the fuck is it? Yeah,
what's going on. Could you imagine? I can't imagine.
yeah, I can't either. I
like,
really
you know
can't.
what I'm saying? So
That's why
it's
I'm
just
glad I never went through it ever in my life.
right yet.
It's just an
So
interesting topic.
it is a interesting topic. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some more Last of the Nice Guys with Manny. So stay tuned.
The last of the nice guys.
And welcome back to Last of the Nice Guys. I'm your co-host Jason, and finally joining with them. So I'm tired. We're back. Thanks for listening to part B or side 2 or whatever you want to call it of Last of the Nice Guys episode. Random number inserted here. Manny's with me now, and we're going to continue our topic on is couple counseling worth it? So Manny, Joe and I, we just discussed it. He told me his side. I said my side. I even regaled him with how I got sucked into a ex-couples counseling kind of situation, which is really funny. But you, Manny, have you had any experience with couples counseling?
No.
Of course you have. So tell us about your story about couples counseling. No, okay. So you haven't.
Well, there's this one time where I smacked a bitch and then the doctor said that was not good. And they said, when you get angry, what do you do? And I didn't like it. So I smacked that bitch and yeah, it didn't work.
Thank you for that. No, but you know what I find funny though is that okay? You are allegedly going through a divorce, right? There was no time that you ever considered counseling or couples counseling before it got to this point.
Often,
What?
but it was informed to me that I'm the problem and I should seek counseling for myself.
Well,
Because
that's unfortunate.
yeah, because I have these voices in my head that apparently take over often, and yeah, I'm batshit.
Okay, so clearly that was never an option for you to save your wonderful marriage. All right, so then, all right, well, the cliche couples counseling, whether it's comedy shows or my background where it's like the girl and the guy kind of just sitting there listening. What is your opinion on couples counseling? Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's um if you're in a situation that's dire, as far as the relationship looking like it's in a downward spiral trend, what have you, and just to get a professional's unbiased, opinion that might assist you in understanding your partner's or even yours, like wrongful, I guess idealistic, view of things, because these doctors are supposed to be unbiased as it is, so they're supposed to help you understand what you're potentially doing wrong and what your partner is doing wrong, or why your partner does things to set you off in the manner that it does, and how to overcome it, and things of that nature. And it's supposed to be helpful, from what I'm to understand.
Allegedly, so allegedly it's
Yeah.
helpful.
So I mean, I could see how it can work and be helpful and assist in relationships to be stronger, to get an unbiased opinion on strengthening the bonds and having exercises with each other, and not like what this guy's doing in my background. Okay, I don't. But like to have an unbiased opinion to help you better understand what your partner's going through, because obviously we're not all created mentally equally. So we all have our different opinions. We were all raised to believe things differently and understand things differently. So what I'll understand the color red to be, Jason's colorblind, he might not. So yeah. So we never know, and that's what they're there. The doctors are there to help you. and they also can, they also allegedly, they help connect that bridge, to help understand why you fell in love in the first place, and to get you back to that and see if you can build from that spot, and just understand, hey, there was a spot that you guys were like deep into it. What happened? Let's get back there. Let's open up all these closed doors and chests or whatever that you just kept piling shit into, as you were hiding it away, and let's get it out. Let's explode. Let's get it out. Let's talk about it. That's what she said. And let's just get all this stuff out, because there are certain individuals out there that believe that they're perfect and there's nothing wrong with them, but at the same time, the doctors also said, they're gonna be like, hey, listen, that's not accurate either. Like, yes, your so and so has a problem, but so do you. Like, you both have an issue. They're different, but because these issues tend to clash together, that we need to discuss this, and yada yada yada, and I have these exercises for you, and if it doesn't work, pay me another $3,000 a week and come back next week.
Well, you see, and it's funny you said, because you basically hit on all the pros, but as I was discussing with Joe in part A, I basically said that if and you said it, that if you're in dire circumstances, that this is what you need. And I feel like if you need to talk at each other with a moderator, with a proxy, the relationship is over, is how I feel. Is that if you have gotten to a point where you can't talk to each other, and that you have to talk at each other through a mediator, through a therapist, through a licensed whatever, then that relationship is already doomed, and that you're wasting your time. I'm not saying that it's not worthwhile, but that's usually when a couple goes to counseling, that's their last resort. And if you've gotten to last resort, that relationship is over. It's been over, and all you're doing is trying to salvage a husk. Even if it does work out, it's never gonna be, because you couldn't fix it between you two. And that's how I felt about it. So well, how would you respond to that criticism of couples counseling?
I would say I understand that mentality of it. But the way that I look at it is, yes, it is a last resort type situation. But at the same time, people grow over time, independently, together, different ways. So what started out as an understanding in the beginning relationship doesn't necessarily mean it continues to be that way. Things change, people change, mindsets change, society changes. So with that being said, I feel that there are times where what was once understood as something could be something completely different, and it's on both sides. So to say that the relationship,
shouldn't you be able to discuss that with each other without needing a mediator, without needing a middle ground kind of thing?
You
Without
do, but
needing a third party.
You do, but there are times where, because the state of the situation, like today, or today's society, everybody's talking, no one's listening. So at that point, you kind of might need somebody to step in, whether it be somebody who really knows you or an unbiased person, to be like, hey, listen, like, you guys, I understand both of you, you guys are both right, but you guys are also both wrong. And it might be like the knock in your head or the slap in the face, be like, you know what, damn, I for this whole time, I thought, I was thinking this certain way, and whatever. And it could be like, a little jog of the head.
But then it goes right back to it. Why do you need that slap in the head? Why do you need that? If you are with somebody, you care about them, and it's clearly not working, you should be able to communicate with that individual, saying, listen, I've seen a change. What's happened. Okay, for example, okay, the big X, the one that whose relationship ended, that I ended with, or ended with me, that started the studio. Yeah, it ended on a boat, but I reached out shortly afterwards and said, hey, listen, come over, we need to talk. And I said, listen, when we were friends, when we were close, these are great. Then you became my girlfriend. It's like a light switch. Things changed. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? So I had the foresight to try it. Now, of course, it didn't work. She said, I am what I am. I'm not going to change for anybody, and she left, which is fine. But I had the foresight and I had the respect to say, listen, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. Like, why did this change? And just try and have a dialogue. I don't think to this day had I said, okay, well, let's go to couples counseling. I mean, we weren't that into it, but let's say that we went to couples counseling, that it would have saved that relationship. Either you are receptive to criticism and to change and to addressing your spouse or your significant other's critiques or concerns, or you're not.
Right.
And if you can't be receptive to the person you claim to love and that you're with, I highly doubt a third party person is going to make you, hey, so you start listening, or hey, I don't think so. And not to say that it doesn't work. Couples counseling works. It can work, but then, like I said, all I feel is like you're on life support. The minute you get to that point, you're on life support, and people can live on life support forever until, so once you get to that point, in my opinion, is like your relationship is 1 foot in the grave. So
there's also another concept that I like to throw in there. There is a thing that people don't express themselves in a manner that they're trying to.
Right.
So that third proxy person might be that, again, that bridge to understanding, because somebody could be saying, yes.
Yeah, translator.
So somebody could be saying something that other individual is not understanding, and it's like, I don't know how else to say the sky is blue. Well, do you mean the sky is turquoise? No, I'm telling you the sky is blue. Well, no, but there's turquoise, there's ocean blue, there's dark blue. Like, which blue are you talking about? It's just blue, motherfucker. No. It's which blue? Like, what shade? What are you talking about? And then,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, so there
like
are individuals.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
It's going green.
Yeah.
So there are individuals that they don't I don't want to say understand, but they're not able to express themselves properly, and in that manner, that their spouse or significant other understands things, completely differently than what they're trying to say, and it's just like, why did you go there? Why did you say that? How can you be like that? It's like, no, that's not what I meant. And then there's only so many times you can be like, that's not what I meant, and this is what I really meant, and you're like, shut up, I don't want to hear it anymore. You've already set that person off, and you're like, shit. And then you write a little letter, and you're like, this is what I really meant, and you spirals down that little rabbit hole, and you're like, yo, just stop.
Right, but then you think in that example that then going to couples counseling would help diffuse the situation? I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I do hear that they do give you like some sort of like benefits as far as like exercises, for instance, that'll help. Like, hey, instead of when you initially hear what so-and-so said, try and ask the question differently. Like it gives you a little like little tricks to help understand that kind of situation. So it's
and that's my point. If you need a cheat sheet for your relationship, it's over. See, these are the things that I'm talking about. Is that if you need a third party to give you techniques on how to handle your spouse, or how to handle your verbiage with your spouse, or how to handle their verbiage to you, or how to handle any situation, I'm sorry, but I mean, we're not in grade school anymore. You like you don't need a study sheet. You should, especially if you've gotten into that relationship that far along, where couples counseling is something that you need. Because usually when you think of couple counseling, you're thinking of, marriage, engaged, living together, or years of commitment. It's rare people go to couples counseling when with any shorter than that. If they do, it's weird. So, I just don't know. I just can't imagine going to couples counseling with somebody that I'm really with, and having somebody else tell me how best for me to deal with my significant other. If I don't know how to do that, living with them, experiencing them, or whatever it is, there's got to be something wrong with either me or her or both of us, or we don't belong together. And I'm not being negative. I'm not saying, oh my God, couples counseling is shit. It's garbage. It's, but what I am saying is that it should never get to that point to begin with. And if it gets to that point, you might want to just like call it quits. I mean, I can see it for maybe marriage, if you have kids, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. When I think about couples counseling, especially since I kind of been in one accidentally with my ex, I just didn't see the merit in it. I walked out of there more angry than I did feeling clear, because of the impression that I got when I left there, because of listening to her griping about the little things about me. I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I here?
Well,
You know?
that's also part of couples counseling, is to put your shit into spotlight. You know, those little gripes that people, because it could not just be this one individual that has those same issues with you, because another aspect of couples counseling is to um alleviate, kill whatever trait or whatever bad thing that you could potentially be doing
Mhm.
in further relationships. So let's just say you date 6 people in a span of 3-4 years, and if I mean, obviously no one's gonna do this, but if you were to go down and be like, hey, listen, of the 6 people, I have one thing. What is the one thing that you hated about so and so? And you know, it could potentially be the same answer for each one. And that's one of those things that couples counseling kind of, you know, gets to. It gets down to that nitty gritty, and you'd be like, listen, you have this one issue, and if you continue it, you know, it might be an issue later on in your many more relationships that you continue to have. Like, if you think that you're the shit in everything, that might be a problem. You know, if you walk around thinking that, you know, you're huge, somebody's gonna be like, and you're gonna die. I've seen it happen.
To who? When? Where? You've seen it happen. What the hell does that mean?
Well, listen. Okay, so I have a brother. Whatever.
Allegedly.
He's somebody that we're having issues right now. But anyways,
Mhm.
I remember. I remember years and years in the past, he used to always walk around like, I'm the shit, I'm better than everybody, you know, whatever. And he started dating this one girl, and he used to always talk about how great the sex was. And he always says that, you know, he pats himself in the back like, oh, I was the best she's ever had. And, you know,
Jesus Christ.
I knocked that shit out, you know, whatever.
Hell yeah, pound that pussy.
And she came over and she was like, wait. Hold on, buddy. Like, let me take you off, let me knock you off your high pedestal real quick. Okay, first of all, you're not huge, you're good enough. and you definitely get the job done, but like, out of this world, too much. And I sat there and I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn, like, this is like it makes me laugh, because people that are like so into themselves and they keep like, oh, I'm better than this and I'm good at this, and then shut the fuck up. First of all, someone's gonna knock your ass down one day and you're gonna fall pretty damn hard.
Oh,
and then when you do,
there's somebody that need to get knocked down so hard now.
I know who you're talking about.
I would love it. I need it. I would bask in his. Oh my god, it would give me sustenance.
You wouldn't have to eat for anything. Just
no,
yes,
I wouldn't eat at all. I would probably shed 50 pounds after that happens, because I'd be so full. I'd be so satiated like that. Fuck.
See, that character flaw is a perfect example that could be beneficial in learning about and understanding in couples counseling. Because when you hear the word couples counseling, it's not 100% about the couples. It's about the individuals as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you get side A of the bullshit, side B of the bullshit, and then the bullshit together, side A and B plus equals C, whatever, MC double squared. So, you know, it brings into fruition, you know, the majority of the issues that each individual has with themselves, and the issues that are instigating the problems in the relationship. So my take on this whole thing is, I don't think couples counseling is a waste of time. Yes, it is one of those disastrous final destinational situations.
The final countdown. Okay, sorry.
But if you're really one of those individuals that wants to commit to that relationship,
I want to make it work. I love him. I love her. I want to make it work.
He beats me up all the time, but he says he loves me. But see, even couples counseling works for those people in like violent outrage situations where it's
okay.
Well, no, can you imagine like black eye coming inside and be like, yeah, I already know what's going on. I'll bill you guys later. Like, but we want to talk about it. I don't think
you can talk about it with the officer outside.
Right, yeah. I think there's somebody else outside that you need to speak to about it.
You take your statement.
But even those kind of situations, like say you have an abusive spouse and they only get abusive when they drink, but they don't realize it. So they're just, that's the lifestyle that they remember. They grew up with that, around that
But
when
they
they were
don't realize
younger.
that. But if the BD, oh God, this is terrible, says, hey babe, okay, when you get drunk, you slap the shit out of me. I mean, if you can't take your spouse or your significant other's word for it, how does going to couples therapy help that? Hey, when he drinks, therapist, he slaps the shit out of me. Well, okay, so and so, you heard what your spouse said. You slap the shit out of them when you drink. How does that make you feel? Well, I didn't know.
Angry.
I mean, angry as he takes a sip of his flask. You know, I mean, so I mean, I don't know. I just think that couples therapy is I know it's a last resort, but my God, it's just like, why allow to get that far? You might as well just call it quits. Because I believe it's more like codependency or just like you feel like you can't find anybody else. That's why you keep holding on, and that's just depressing. It is. Couples therapy. The idea of couples therapy is depressing. The idea of unless it's minor, but then even if it's a minor thing, you still should be able to talk it out. Communication is key. We always said this in this podcast, that communication is key. And if you can't communicate or you have doubts, then it's it. I mean, there's nothing. That's the core. That means you have a rotten core. And yeah, sure, you can gut it out and replace it with whatever, but it's never going to be the same.
I just had a great idea.
What's that? Couples? Who's couple? Where are we going?
You just read my mind. We need to go. We'll go to couples therapy. I was like, listen, he's too damn cynical about this nonsense, but I'm all about it. Let's go.
That'd be really funny. If they would allow us to record that and put it on as a podcast episode,
You know what?
Freaking hilarious.
I don't think they'll let you do it because doctor confidentiality.
Well, yeah, but if it's our session and we want to put it out there, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
We would definitely have to find somebody.
I would say, listen, I will bug you up and say, hey, this is your practice, and we'll refer anybody we want to you. But it'd be a great bit. It'd be a great bit. I think a good couples counseling session, me, you versus Joe, would be great about his inconsistency. That would be freaking amazing. I think because clearly talking to him about it doesn't help, right? So maybe a third party, and we just say, listen, we don't feel important to you. This is your baby. You brought this, and we feel some kind of way. I think maybe.
Yeah. I think, see, in this kind of situation, it'll definitely work out because if you tell him that, he's gonna say, "Fuck you, Jason."
Yes.
Grow up. And if I tell him, what is he gonna tell me? Oh, well, fuck you, man. I'm no. I'm speaking.
Yeah. See. So,
I have spoken.
So I mean, maybe we should do that. That'd be really funny. I'm actually gonna be in New York next week, so that should be funny. But
are you going?
Yeah. I want to go support the brother. He's going. I won't say he's going through stuff, but he's things are a little harder. And I said, let me go give him some moral support. I don't live there, but I can go up there with my offspring and pat him on the back and say, listen, we were proud of you. So yeah, I'll be up there next week for half the week. So traveling.
I'll be working my ass off as I've been for the past month and a half.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, you rocked out that Colombian breakfast, man. You showed up and you drowned your sorrow, so it was great. And left my house 1:45 in the morning on a Sunday night. So that was talking
about stupid shit.
Yep, that would have been a great podcast episode too. We just let the thing roll and we just talked. That would have been a good episode. All right, well, I guess there's not much more left. I mean, I already said my piece in part 1 or part A or whatever. And so I guess final thoughts on couples counseling after I basically put it in his grave.
So again, as somebody, if you're an individual that is willing to work on the relationship and not give up 100%, if you want to give that last hurrah, just to say you did. Yeah, just to say you did, clear your conscience. I tried everything, whatever. Couple counseling is possible. It could work. I would never say 100% that it works, but at the same time, you may find things about yourself that you were unwilling to either learn or look upon, shed light on prior to, speaking to anybody about it, because, you were raised a certain way younger and you were just bred to be whoever it is that you grew up to be, not realizing that you're a danger to society.
Ooh. I was gonna say a scumbag, like how Joe was raised to be a scumbag, but that's not true. He grew into being a scumbag. But no, I mean, I'll just reiterate it. Like I said, go. I'm not against couples therapy. If you feel like you need to go, you can go for it. If it's just proving yourself something. But again, I don't see the merit in it. I think that this is a last resort. Once you have to go beyond yourself to seek solutions for your relationship, you really pretty much it's over. And by going to couples counseling, even if it does fix things, you're just beating a dead horse. You're reanimating a corpse, in my opinion. And maybe that's all you need. And you forget, and it's fine. I mean, any foundation can be rebuilt, but remember, if it's not the original foundation, it's never going to be the same kind of thing. So
maybe it's not supposed to be the same original foundation. Sometimes you have to destroy an old foundation to make a stronger one.
You're right. And by destroying an old foundation, Manny, means break up with the person and find somebody new. I absolutely agree. I'm not a cynic. I want to make it very clear. I'm not a cynic. I'm not pessimistic, but I'm very realistic about relationships and these things. And I don't want to sugarcoat it and say, maybe it'll work, you should try it. No, I'm not going to say that stuff. If I truly don't believe something,
leave it to the overly nice guy. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the reason why you're here, because you provide the optimism that Last of the Nice Guys, a true nice guy.
I have hope.
So you still, well, I don't know. You see saw back and forth because you're the same guy that said "fuck love" like literally a month and a half ago.
First of all, I was saying it's not for me right now. So
first of all,
I
hate love.
I didn't say I hate it. I just said I'm not paying attention to it. It's not for me right now.
Absolutely replay that clip that said I hate love. But we'll move on from that. So anyway, that's a wrap for Last of the Nice Guys. What's the title of this episode again?
Couples counseling, is it necessary?
That's not gonna work. Is couples counseling worth it? I'm Jason.
And I'm Manny.
And thank you for your time.
Regard me.
The Last of the Nice Guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.